Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Nice to see you. Okay.
How are you?
Thank God, Baruch Hashem.
Baruch Hashem, indeed.
All right, here we go. Okay, good. So, okay, so where do we leave off?
We're in the Beit Yosef. I
Yeah.
believe. If I'm not mistaken.
What time they start today here? 4:15 or
Yeah.
4 o'clock?
4:15.
Okay, got it. So what you said Yutet, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna do Beit Yosef.
Yes.
Okay, everybody got the place? So it says Garcina Perk Arep Sachim. There's a Gemara over there, Kufiyut Bet Amud Aleph. ולא יפחתו לו מארבע כוסות של יין דמסוכר ולא מה שידה מפחית שבע יומי דשקיל מזיה ולא מה שידה מפחית תלת יומי. So over there it talks about certain things that a person does that can cause him damage, all kinds of things, fear. So the first thing it mentions is regarding don't have less than 4 cups of wine. As we mentioned, right, this is the idea of zugot, right? Pairs of wine, pairs, right? So we'll I don't know if we're going to get into this over here now, but anyway, right, we're not talking really about that issue, but it's going on. It goes on to say, so first of all, right, right, so I'm sorry, it's not talking about the pairs, it's talking about for arba kosot to Pesach, right? That's what it's saying. Don't drink less than 4 cups on Pesach, right? Okay. The mesukar velama sheyadeh mavchit shiva yomeh. The shakil mazye velama sheyadeh mavchit tlata yomeh. So it says, right, certain things that you do, it's going to make you fear. The shakil tufre velama sheyadeh mavchit chad yomah. So vela yada maika mavchit. Mefresh Rashi. So Rashi explains, right, this Gemara, for our purposes, right, we don't need to know the whole thing, because it's not talking about our discussion, but just the mesukar makis dam mina ketefayim. That means that he bloodletted from his shoulders, right? He didn't wash his hands. So, as we said, right, this is a problem because you have a wound, right? So you got to wash your hands. And it says like this, right? That if that happens, 7 days is going to be afraid, right? Because of this, he's going to have a fear, right? After bloodletting, yeah. So you gotta wash your hands after you bloodlet. We don't do that today, okay? So no big deal for.
I'm sorry, Rabbi. I have a question. Fear, they mean like anxiety or like a fear of like getting sick?
Well, it's not. It's like it's not a psychological term. Like in other words, it's just fear. Like your household, your common household fear.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I can't really define it in psychological terms because the Gemara is not a psychology class. You know what I mean? It wasn't written by Sigmund Freud. You know what I mean?
Understood. Thank you.
So anyway, right, these terms, anxiety, well, it's all like Freudian kind of language. You know what I mean? All kinds of stuff like that. So anyway, right, he's gonna fear for 7 days if he does this. So I guess we'll get into the Shulchan Aruch, right? Yeah. You said
So what has to do with the Arba Kusot and the
nothing. It's just, it has all kinds of, for our purposes, that's the only thing we need to know.
Okay.
The other stuff is not relevant for us right now. When we get to Pesach, then we'll talk about the Abakosot. Okay. So,
But what was the connection, Rabbi?
the what?
The
The
wine-
connection is fear. That you're going to be fearing if you don't do this, if you don't do that, all kinds of things like that.
wine as well. If you drink less than 4 cups of wine, okay,
You have to see the Gemara inside there to see what the context is. But it's not relevant to us anyway, so I'm not going to get into it now. So I'm going to look in the Shulchan Aruch straight ahead. So we're in Siman Daled, right? And you
Yutet.
you got it. Okay. So it says,
page cover?
Hamakis dam miktefaim benunat al yadav, right? So it says if he bloodletted and he didn't wash his hands, mefachet zayin yamin, 7 days he's gonna have fear. Hamgaleach velonat al yadav, if he shaved, he didn't wash his hands, 3 days. Mefachet gimel yamin, 3 days. This is all from this Gemara we just saw, right? Notel tzipornav, if he cut his nails, velonat al yadav. He didn't wash his hands. Mefachet yom echad, 1 day of fear. Ve'eno yodea mima mefachet. Look what it says, right? He doesn't know what he's afraid of. In other words, he has no rational reason to be afraid. So I guess you can call that anxiety, huh? What about Nisim? What do you say?
Yeah, that's the right thing. I think it's more
Okay.
like a psychological.
So I guess you were right.
question.
Yeah,
This shaved.
yeah.
They didn't shave it, right? No electric razors, and you couldn't.
They had scissors. They had regular razors.
But razors you're not allowed to use, right?
Oh, well, this whole discussion in itself, by the way, where can you use a razor? Where can you not razor? I'll tell you a place you can use your razor. You know where it is? You'll be surprised. Your mustache. Did you know that?
No.
Oh, you guys. You're allowed to use your razor on the mustache.
Right, there are so many
Yeah.
opinions,
There is, but the mustache is agreed by everybody.
right?
Yeah, it's according to everybody.
What about the edges?
The whole mustache. You're allowed to use. Yes, yes.
What about this area?
What? Do you mean under the neck area, or
This area.
yeah? So the truth is that the Rama says you shouldn't use a razor over here because it's too close to the corners of the face, So he says better not to use it, but it's just a chumrah, basically. According to halacha, you're allowed to use a razor anywhere where those 5 corners are not there. 5 corners of the face. What are the 5 corners of the face? Here we go. Ready? This, right? This and this. These are the corners, according to one opinion, which is like there's also other opinions.
So better not touch anything.
Right, that's what the Shulchan Aruch says. Better not to touch anything. But we know, right? For instance, that the mustache is okay. So okay, whatever. It's a whole discussion. But anyway, we're not going to talk about that now. That requires a different approach altogether, right? To talk about that issue. But anyway, right? This whole discussion itself. So anyway, right? That's the idea. So it means that you have to wash your hands after you do these things, right? Bloodletting we don't do, and right, all these things. So got to be careful with those things. Okay, there you go.
Does it actually say shaving? Does it mean like trimming or cutting?
It means shaving, yeah.
Shaving.
Yeah. By the way, shaving doesn't necessarily mean with the razor. It could also mean with scissors. It's also shaving.
Also not shaving?
Yeah, you're shaving your beard with scissors. Sure. Okay, so that's that. Let's go to next one, right? Which is cuff.
Yes.
Very good. So,
Where are we again?
Bet Yosef Yutet. Your brother will show you. Okay. Okay, so it says, right, so I'm sorry, we're doing kaf, right? Kaf. So it says, Garcinan Pek Rabbi Eliezer de Milah. Right, we have over there in the Shabbat, Kuf Lam Gimel Amud Bet, Hai man de mashe apeh, ve'lam menageb tuba. If a person washes his face and doesn't dry it good, nikteru le chaspinta, right, so something happens to him, we'll see what that is. Mai takante, what's going to be? How can you fix the problem? Dim shetuva b'maya, you should wash with a lot of water. The silka, I'm sorry, not water, but like beet juice, beet whatever. Rashi explains, Chaspanita panav mitbakeot. So Rashi explains, right? What happens to a person who doesn't dry his face? He gets cracks in his face, like whatever. I don't know exactly how you call that, right? There's a term for it.
That skin.
Not that skin. It's like those grooves, it's like dry skin, like dry. Yeah, whatever, dead, whatever. Dead skin. Yeah. In other words, he gets those things, He gets cracks in his skin.
Is it psoriasis?
Lesions.
Yeah, lesions, psoriasis. Yeah.
Oh, wait a second. What's lesions?
Lesions are basically indents in the skin structure.
I'm sorry, what was that again?
Indents in the skin structure. Like, when people have pimples, they scratch them, they get lesions over time.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And so psoriasis is dry skin.
Okay, that's interesting. I'm not really sure if that's what it means, but the point is, right, that his skin gets dried out, like so it cracks. Do you call that lesions? I don't know. Anyway, okay, that's good. So he says, what's the remedy? Let him use beet juice to wash his face with that. ואני אומר שהוא מין שכין, והוא בחרס שכתוב בתורה, ובחספינצה תרגום של חרס. So not Maran, let me see who this is. Yeah, this is Maran. Well, one second. Right, it seems like it's like Rashi. Right, so it seems like Rashi is saying it's some sort of what do you call that? Like shkin means like I forget the name for it. I guess lesions is the right word. Could be, yeah. Right, shkin is like kind of like like some skin problem, whatever. Yeah, it could be, yeah, whatever, one of those things. So he gets something like that. So causes him these skin problems, as you said. Could be lesions, yeah, maybe that's what it is. So I gotta look it up in the dictionary. I don't know. Okay, so I trust you, Nissim. Okay, so anyway.
Thank you for your vote.
So okay, so he says it was one of those things that was going on in Egypt, the diseases. Okay, whatever. It's one of the curses, right? Or something like that. Curses, yeah. Shechin. Okay, whatever. Anyway, yeah, boils, lesions, yeah, something like that. Okay, let's go to Shulchan Aruch. We got that done, right? So it says, right, if he washes his face and didn't dry it, right, it cracks, whatever, or he gets those lesions, as you said, right, something like that. So he says one or the other, right, or this or that, whatever. So what's his refuah? What's his healing? Use beet juice to wash your face.
Is this a pituitary?
Huh?
Is it a pituitary?
Try it out. Let's see how it works. So let us know. Okay. I guess you don't want to try that. Okay.
What?
You guys got all those modern medicines, the creams and stuff. You don't need that stuff. Okay, whatever. So anyway, right, that's the way it is. Maybe usually the natural remedies are better than the modern stuff. Honestly, Okay, so that's that. So this is such basic, good hygiene, Torah hygiene class. Right, that's what it is basically. Which is also important, you have to know how to take care of yourself. Good. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Katuv b'Shuvat Rashba. You guys got the place?
Yeah.
That's right. It's written in the Rashba.
Go back.
נשאל כלשון הזה, he was asked a question, the Rashba. אנו צריכים להיזהר בתפילה או באכילה שלא ניגע במקום התינופת. So he says, we have to be careful when it comes to prayers and eating, that we shouldn't touch dirty places. איזה נקרא מקום תינופת? So what's a dirty place, right? We talked about this before, right? The places which are covered on the body. Maybe that's what he's talking about. Let's see. והשיב, so Rashba answers, מסתבר שלא מקום התינופת ממש, אלא, he says Rashba, it's not talking about something really dirty. אלא אפילו שוק וערך, right? As we said, right? Even your legs, and the thighs, המכוסים, which are covered, you wear pants, right? באדם, לפי שיש שם מלמולי זיעה. So exactly what we said, right, last week. Because there's sweat over there, this is the problem. וכן מחכך בראשו, אבל מקומות מגולים, and says the same thing also when you, as we said, right, you scratch your scalp, same thing over there, you got sweat over there. אבל מקומות מגולים, but he says בראשו, but if it's something which is revealed on your head, open place, right, like your forehead, for instance, right, בפניו, and his face, מקום מגולה שבזרועותיו, or your open place on your arms, and זה מקום התינופת, that's not called dirty place, שאין שם צואה וזיעה, because there's no sweat there. וכך אנו נוהגים, so he says, this is the minhag, he says, the Rashba. So that seems to be, right, pretty much the story. That ends the siman, right?
Not quite yet.
Mazal tov. Oh, not quite yet. What? We got the other things left. Yeah, we left over some things, right?
Yeah.
Leftovers. Okay. Okay, got that. All right, good you thought of that. I would have forgotten it for sure. Okay, so let's go to Shulchan Aruch. So it says there. So, sorry, one second. So it says, צריך להיזהר בתפילה או באכילה. You got to be careful when it comes to prayers and eating. שלא ליגע בשוק בירך. Don't touch your thighs and legs, right? Your knees, whatever. ומקומות המכוסים באדם. In covered places on your body. לפי שיש שם מלמולי זיעה, because there's all sweat there. Right, so, yeah. Okay, good. Droplets of sweat. Milmuleh. Okay, that's good. So then he says, וכן שלא לחכך בראשו. Don't scratch your head, your scalp. במקומות המגולים בראשו, but if it's place which is open on your head, לפניו, on your face, מקום המגולה שבזרועותיו, also on your arms, the place which is open, אין להקפיד. No problem with that. By the way, it's mashma from here that it implies here that if it's a covered place on your arms, it is a problem. The truth is that there are other poskim who don't agree with this. They say that the whole arm is no problem. It's a whole big machloket about that. Like one time I posted something on that. Because you know what happens when you put on tefillin, right? You wind up touching your arm. So the question is, after you put on tefillin, you have to wash your hands. So from the poskim that I saw, the achronim, they say you don't have to wash your hands. Most of them, they say like that. There are some more machmir. But according to this, it seems like you should be machmir because if it's a place which is covered. Okay, whatever. We'll discuss that later on some other time. But anyway, right? It seems like you don't have to be machmir to wash your hands, according to most poskim, when you put on tefillin. Interesting. Okay, so
Now there's the tour, Chabet.
wait a second. We finished the tour, no?
Let me see the tour. that we didn't do yet.
Are you sure?
I don't remember. Yeah.
What does it say?
ואם אין לו מים,
Yeah, go ahead.
יקנח ידיו בתורו או בכל מידי.
Yeah, we read that. We read that.
Did?
Yeah,
Oh.
we did, yeah.
What about בית יוסף on it?
There's Bet Yosef. What's the number on that?
כ"ב וכ"ג.
Okay, let's check that. Let's check that. I read the whole tour, from to the end. Okay, so let's check that. So it must be behind us, right? That Bet Yosef, right? It's behind us because we already finished the whole thing. Okay, so let me just see where that is. What number was that again?
כ"ב וכ"ג together.
Chav Ben Chav Gimel. Got it. Okay. Okay. Is it like towards the beginning of the Siman or where is it? Oh,
It's-
okay. Yeah,
No, it's like towards like the end.
towards the end.
It's really in the
Yeah.
middle. It's before Zion, beit Yosef Zion.
Ah, it's before Zion. Okay, got it. Thank you. Okay, good. I'm almost there. You guys got the place? ואם אין לו מים, קנח ידיו בצרור.
And the Shulchan
Got
Aruch.
it? It's in the Bet Yosef. Got it? Yitzchak, you got it? Good. How'd you get it, Yitzchak? How'd you get it? Okay. Okay, good, bro. He's doing a good job. All right, so here we go. So it says, "V'im ein lo mayim, yikaneach yadav b'tzor." So if he doesn't have any water, let him use pebbles, right, to rub his hands, right, some kind of rock, whatever. Or bechol midi de menakeh, or something that cleans you. In other words, he's talking about something abrasive, basically, right? Piece of cloth, a rag, whatever, a towel, God knows what. It says, where is this? In Brachot Tetvav Amud Aleph. So it says, he explains the reason over there. The Mishum Demikativ Erchatz b'mayim. So it says the reason. It doesn't say I'm gonna wash with water. It says Erchatz b'nikayon. So that means I'm just gonna clean it. It's a pasuk like that. Ketiv. So anything which cleans you is good enough. So look what he says, right? What about if a person needs to look for water at the time of prayers? So what does that mean? Time is limited, right? You got, you're pressured now with timing. So what should you do in a case like that? Should you look for water? Right? Katav Rabbeinu b'siman tzadik bet. He wrote in tzadik bet. V'sham piresh over there. He wrote over there. He says, "Hadaminan b'chol midat deminake." The same thing, right? He says over there that what? You shouldn't go looking for water at the time of prayers. Just do something abrasive, as we said, right? And clean your hands, and go and pray. Okay, good. Very nice. So then it says, "V'yivarech al nekiut yadayim." You're going to bless al nekiut yadayim, right? Ken katav harosh. That's the shita of the rosh. You have to bless on this, right? The self berachot. In the brachot, it says over there, when he washes his hands, then we say netilat yadayim. So it says the Rosh, the person is always touching things, groping around. Asking them, so they made a blessing before you read Kriyat Shema, and you bless, and you pray, I'm sorry. So it says, really, it would have been proper to say, al nekiut yadayim, or cleanse your hands. It says, since they made netilat yadayim for eating, to wash hands, so therefore, to bless netilat yadayim, he told me because you need a kli over there when you eat. The kli shemo natla, and the tea is called natla, as we said, right? That's the name of the kli. Therefore, he says they decreed. Therefore, as an extension of that, they said you should bless al netilat yadayim. ונראה שאם אין לו מים, so it says, it seems like he doesn't have any water, הוא מנקה את ידיו, and he's cleaning his hands, בצרור, with a rock, ועפר or dirt, שמברך על נקיות ידיים. So says the Rosh, you should bless, if you do that, bless על נקיות ידיים, cleanliness of the hands. שחייב אדם לנקות ידיו בשעת תפילה, the person is חייב, obligated to clean his hands time in tefillah, same repairs. Like we said above, like it says in the pasuk, so by the way, just to let you know, right? Obviously, we don't pass like this Rosh, but this is the opinion of the Rosh. You know what I mean? That you have to bless on that. We don't bless on that. We don't bless at all, for prayers, for washing for prayers. We don't bless on that at all. Any blessing. So the only time we bless is for what? For the morning and for the meals. It's also said when going brachot shachrit, it says right in the Gemara that they arrange these brachot, these blessings, so it implies you can bless all these blessings before Netilat Yadayim. Can you imagine? Let's say if a person doesn't have water, right? Let's say, right? Can't find water. So you can do these blessings beforehand as well, before you found some water. You're allowed to make blessings with ruach ra in your hands. There's no prohibition. Yeah, there's no prohibition. If you have a need for it, there's no way you can get out of it. So he says this is helps the opinion that says that they didn't make Netilat Yadayim ela l'kriyat Shema Tefillah, only for kriyat Shema Tefillah. Also Rashba writes this in the Tshuva. Umiu katav b'tshuva, he wrote in the Tshuva, and his car in the above mentioned Tshuva, she'im yashen al mitato arom, right? So if he slept on his bed naked, as we said, right? In those days they slept naked like that. They didn't have underwear and pajamas, stuff like this. They didn't have all these things. So there the problem is the hands are whipping around the body, touching the body, and therefore you cannot mention the name of Hashem until clean them. So with something that cleans it. So comes out right that you have here the opinion of the Rosh, as we said, we don't pass him like that. But what about this Rashba, right? That says so the Rashba seems to have adding a separate point over here, right? That the Rosh didn't mention. That what? That if he slept on his bed naked, so then he cannot mention the name of Hashem because his hands are dirty. The Rosh doesn't mention this whole thing, right? So we'll see in the halakha how that comes out, right? There seems to be a little bit of discrepancy there between them. But as we said, right, we do things a little bit differently than the Rosh. Okay, so I'm going to the Shulchan Aruch Chabet. Was that the end of it, Yosef?
For the
But Yosef, that was the end of it?
yes, but there was one
Other piece, right?
one piece that we also left out.
Yeah, yes, I remember. Yes. Good. Chazak. Very good. You're on the ball, man. So it says like this, right? Im en lo ma'im. Right? You got that? The Shulchan Aruch Chabet? Everybody got it? The end of the Shulchan Aruch, like the last two pieces of Shulchan Aruch, last two paragraphs. Chab Bet and Chab Gimel. This confused them. We went around too fast. We went in circles, That's what happens when you go in circles. Okay, so as we said, right? Iman lo mayim says if he doesn't have any water, he kaneach yadav b'tzro. Or I'm sorry, I read this way, right? Am I reading the wrong one? Right, so
Okay.
yeah, so if he doesn't have water, just rub your hands on something abrasive, rock, dirt, call me the minakeh, something that cleans you. Vivarech anekut yadayim, right? Best anekut yadayim. Yo'il tefillah. It's going to help you also for tefillah. Aval lo le'avir ruach ra shalehem. It's not going to help you for the ruach ra. So here, right? Why is he saying you should bless nekut yadayim? So you know what it is? The reason is because here we're talking about the morning. So what does that mean? We're talking about a case here where he got up in the morning, he doesn't have any water, right? So he needs to pray. You know? So what do? So you're gonna have to pray with the Ruach Ra. So what did you do? Clean your hands with something abrasive and go and pray and bless the Kiyut Yadayim. That's what he's saying, right? Now the question is, do we really make this blessing today? What do you say?
No.
No, against the Shulchan Aruch? You going against the Shulchan Aruch?
No, no.
It's okay. I'm not gonna give you
I
a
just don't.
citation on
I
that.
don't see no one that does.
Don't worry.
I don't see.
I'm
no
looking in
one,
the Mishnah Berurah. I'm sorry, what are you saying?
I don't see anyone saying Nihil
Nobody does it, right? Because everybody has water today, so it's not really shaykh. But sometimes they shut off your water in the building, So
Rabbi, I'm sorry. Let's say you're in the desert, right? Realistically speaking, do you do that?
yeah, so that's what he's talking
On
about.
time of a drought,
So so Mishnah Berurah, I have the Mishnah Berurah here, and he says that the halacha is like the Shulchan Aruch, that you bless the Kiyut Yadayim in this case. Interesting, huh? That's what the Mishnah Berurah says.
Very interesting, yeah.
Okay, let's see. Let's see if there's anything more here.
You live and you learn.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing the Yalkut Yosef to see what it says there. I wouldn't mind at all. I'll check that, Bezat Hashem. I'll check the Yalkut Yosef. 1 second. Okay, so this is the Mishnah Berurah, what I just told you. If you guys just have a second, I'll look in the Yalkut Yosef maybe now, but I don't know, it's gonna take time. Okay, I'll look in it, I'll do a quick job. So we're on Siman Daled, right? At the end. Quick Yalkut Yosef run. Interesting. He may not even cover it, because it's not common. He doesn't cover everything Yalkut Yosef. He only covers like more practical stuff, Sometimes that's the way it is. Let's see. Ah, he talks about it. It says, מי שאין לו מים בצור את ידיו בגימל פעמים, אתה יודע? ואומר כזה, מי שאין לו מים ליטול את ידיו בבוקר, אינו יכול להתעכב על שבוע וזה, הקיא ידיו מתנקב ולא ימנע עצמו מלהניח תפילין וזה, רשאי ללבוש בגדיו גם בלי נטילת ידיים, אבל אם ישב פיג'מה, לא נגע במקום הדפוסים, אין צריך לנקותם, שמדבר מדינת רע. So it seems like he's dodging that issue at all altogether about the blessing, if he should bless or not. It doesn't mention it. Very interesting.
DC, let's hope we're not gonna get into this situation.
Ah, it's a whole big thing over here. Anyway, it seems like he dodges that question. But there's no reason why you can't rely on the Shulchan Aruch, there's no problem with that, obviously. Unless you see some achronim are coming, and attacking, blah blah blah, all kinds of attacks, blah blah blah.
Wait, but aren't we supposed to follow the Shulchan Aruch? Why do we listen to the Achronim?
Good question. It's a very good question. You know what it is? There's several things. Like there are certain things that they were not noheg like the Shulchan Aruch. The custom was not like Shulchan Aruch. As we said, right? Like certain things which going to Kabbalah, like prayers and stuff. Also could be because of safek brachot le'akir. Like in other words, there's a question of bracha lebatala. Sometimes. So then they go against the Shulchan Aruch sometimes.
Well,
Yeah.
not do that, right?
Good. Yeah, it's good what you're saying. But the Chida writes that we go against Maran when it comes to Safek Brachot. So, it's a machloket. I mean, this whole thing, So there's two different ways of looking at it. But I see what you're saying. I see your point. Believe me when I tell you. Okay, whatever. Anyway, he dodges the question. Okay, so I'm just gonna avoid it now.
Right. I remember.
But anyway,
the issue
yeah,
about
yeah.
The tzitzit, if you took it off and you're putting it back on,
Yeah,
Shulchan Aruch says you should say the bracha.
yeah. So from me over there, it's very clear. You should do like the Shulchan Aruch. For me, anyway, it's clear. Because the Rishonim say like that. You know what I mean? So there's nothing. Nothing. I mean, but here I just wanted to see if it's a machloket, not a machloket, whatever. But anyway, it seems like it's fine. It seems like it's fine. I don't see any problem with this. To make a blessing on it. But Yalkut Yosef kind of like avoids it. Doesn't want to talk about it. Okay, whatever. I guess he had a safek about it. I don't know. Not really sure. I have to look into it more, but I'll tell you guys tomorrow. I'll tell you something more concrete about that. Okay. So we'll go to the last one, right? In Shulchan Aruch, Chav Gimel. So it says, "Lo tiknu netilat yadayim ela al kriyat shema tefillah." They only did netilat yadayim for kriyat shema tefillah. So what does that mean in the morning? Right? אבל ברכת השחרית יכול לברך קודם נטילה. But when it comes to birkat shachrit, you can bless those blessings without washing your hands, right? So meanwhile, if you don't have any water, right, don't hesitate to make those blessings. So basically, right, if a person doesn't have water, what does he do? Right, bottom line, right? First of all, you can make birkat shachar without doing nothing. But unless, as the Rashba said, right, unless you were naked, you touched your body, so then it wouldn't be proper to do it that way. So what would be the proper thing to do? If you don't have any water, use something abrasive, clean your hands and go and pray. If you don't have any water, what can you do? That's the proper thing. And Ken Hashem is right. So he says right exactly what I just told you. If he's sleeping naked, then he cannot mention the name of Hashem. Why? Because he probably touched himself. Until he cleans his hands. So Nisim, is that good?
So
Yes, Rabbi, thank you.
Okay, great.
the rule of Torah is not as worse as touching your body. Then you can say Hashem's name with the rule of Torah, but if you touch your body, you cannot.
Yeah, good question, right? It's a good question. So you know what the answer is? The answer is like this, okay? That Ruach Ra is something spiritual. It's not physical. You can't see it. It's not dirt. It's not filth, It's a spiritual problem. So there we don't mind. It's not, because in derech, it's not an issue of derech eretz, But the issue with the sweat is like more of a physical problem, So there we're more makpid. You understand what I'm saying? This is the difference between one and the other. It's a little bit of a sharp thing, but a little bit sharp, but that's pretty much what it is,
I'm thinking.
Ruach Ra is a spiritual issue, so there's no issue. In other words, let's say, for instance, right? I'll give you an example. You go in front of a king, right? So go speak with him, right? So does he see that you have Ruach Ra in your hands? He doesn't realize that, He doesn't know. But if you're dirty, he sees you that you're dirty. So the king also, if you're dirty, doesn't he doesn't want to see you like that. But Ruach Ra, what can you do? It's something for spiritual. It's can't you don't have any water. What can you do, right? You can't get it off. So yeah.
Rabbi, I thought the rule of law is blocking the connection to Hashem. Like it's the other direction.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I mean, it certainly is blocking you to a certain extent. You know what I mean? But it's not a total block. It's more like a bother. It's like it's bothering you. You know what I mean? It's like it's a nuisance. That's really what it is. Nothing really can really block you from connecting with Hashem. You know what I mean?
The
Every
other
Jew is
direction.
always connected. Okay, whatever. Something like that, right? Okay. So that's it. We're done with the Siman, right? Going to Hay, right? Oh, we got that Bit Yosef. Ooh, that Bit Yosef. You know why he knows? Because his name is Yosef. He knows Bit Yosef. He knows where the Bit Yosef is. Okay, good. Yosef, Bit Yosef. Mi Yosef ad Yosef, lo haya ki Yosef. That's what it says, no? All right. One of my friends told me, he said, all these big chachamim of the Sfardim, a lot of them were called Yosef, so they say, Mi Yosef ad Yosef, lo ek Yosef. What does that mean? From Maran to the Chida, who was also Yosef, right? There was nobody like Yosef. Then from the Chida to Ben Ishchai, also Ben Ishchai was Yosef. Rabbi Yosef Chaim, And then Rabbi Yosef. From there, Yosef to Yosef. They always go from Yosef to Yosef. That's the way it is. Yes, I'm sorry. By the way, there's also another thing, They say that, who told me this? I think it was the Rabbi Maran. They say, somebody told me this, that whoever has the name Yosef, people are jealous of him. Just like Yosef al-Tzaddik. So also Maran, people are always jealous of him. That's the... Okay, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to ask about
Yeah.
the rule of law. How careful should we be with the children?
Oh, what's the question?
For kids, it's very, very difficult. You wash one, he goes touches the other one, and then he didn't wash yet.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta be careful as much as you can. Well, what can you do? We're doing the best we can.
But with the kids, it's still there.
Of course, yeah. I mean, yeah, sure, it is there, yeah. Because they have a neshama, just like anybody else. I mean, even though their neshama is not exactly the same as ours, when they get bar mitzvah, they get a different neshama, whatever. It gets higher level. But anyway, they're human beings, so yeah, they have it.
But with kids,
But not a goy, right? Yeah.
they
Sorry.
touch themselves. Like they wake up.
Yeah, so yeah, you gotta be careful with that as much as you can. What can you do? What can you do? Do the best you can. Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, sometimes you don't think about these things, Regarding that, it says Shomer Petayim Hashem. You know what that means? Hashem guards the innocent, the people, he guards them, Okay, he guards them. Because they don't know how to take care of themselves. So whoever doesn't know how to take care of himself, Hashem guards him. You know what I mean? Says you're pathetic, so I'll take care of you. You don't have to take care of yourself. Just something like that. Okay. So we're going to that Bet Yosef. It was like Aleph something, right? Aleph.
Yeah, Olive. It's
Aleph.
it's right after you design.
Got it. Okay, good. Yes, so it says like this, right? I hope you guys find this. Show it to Yitzchak if you can show them. It's like towards the end of the bit, Yosef. After you Zain.
Page Chava.
26.
Mhm.
So it says, כתב עוד הרב דוד אבודריהם, שנהגו לברך על נטילת ידיים, במנהג יסודו נטילת ידיים, ואשר יצר, also on אשר יצר, בין עשה צלחה, בין לא עשה צלחה. Whether you did something or you didn't do something in the bathroom. So as we said, right, we don't paskin this way, but we saw that the Ramah brought that down, right? The Ashkenazim paskin have this custom. Because there's ruach on the hands, and also the hands are groping around, as we said. So therefore, it's not possible they didn't touch anything dirty right at night. The Kohen Gadol. Also, it says resembles Kohen Gadol, that he cleanses his hands before, right, the service of the temple. So you also have to sanctify your hands before you serve God. To serve him with clean hands. This is the language of Rabbi David Abraham. So it says Maran regarding this. The Birkat Asher Yatzar. So Yesh Yatzar, I don't know what's the purpose. Okay, let's let the time explain to me, right, what the problem, what the issue is. Very nice, beautiful. Chazak Baruch. But Asher Yatzar, where did that come in? I mean, that's what he's asking. Maran. I mean, why should you bless Asher Yatzar if you didn't use a bathroom? You know what I mean? This is the question. Very obvious question, right? Remember the Ramah brought that down? Remember last week we saw that you should bless Asher Yatzar.
Just coming in and out of the bathroom.
Just every morning you gotta bless whether you did something or didn't do something. According to the Ramah, this is where it comes from, right? It comes from Rav David Abudrahim. We're not this is not our custom here. Yeah. He was Friday, right? But in this case, we don't go like him, you know. There's always exceptions to the rule. So any of them, so I don't know what the reason for Asher Yatzar. When he didn't use a bathroom, what should you go for? I got that. But it's mashma you have to bless that. Even though you didn't do anything. Okay, fine, that I understand. That's what he says also, this rabbi. Also the Rosh. Over there, Brachot, Perktet, the Mishum, they are done maskanioten because their hands are groping around. The that's for it's not possible they didn't touch any of the body. So therefore they made a blessing before you read Kriyat Shema with Vitpalel. The Chen Katav Gamken, B'tshuva Klal, Rabbi also wrote in the Tshuva the Rosh. Umash Katav B'sofotam Tshuva. Now what she wrote in the end of that Tshuva, Sheim Hu Notel Yadav Kishirotze. If he washes his hands when he wants, Vitpalel to pray. Im lo asat tzarachad. Oh, so if he didn't do anything in the bathroom, so he argues with that, right? The Rosh, so with Rabbi David Abudrahim, you should not bless if you didn't use the bathroom. So it says, "Eno tzarich levarech al netilat yadayim shelo tiknua ela v'okech shadam metunafot." I'm sorry, what was that again? Lo asat tzarcha. Im lo asat tzarcha v'eno tzarich levarech al netilat yadayim. So no, the Rosh has something else a little bit. What he's telling you is that if you didn't use the bathroom, you don't have to bless netilat yadayim. Shelo tiknua ela beboker k'shadam metunafot. Because they only said this when your hands are dirty in the morning. In other words, what he's trying to tell you is you don't have to bless this blessing from Mincha and Arvit. That's what he's saying, right? משמשות במקום התינופת ועשה צרכיו צריך לומר את זה הרבה כאילו כתב או עשה צרכיו כלומר שלא תקנוע אלא בבוקר שידע בתינופות שבמשמשות במקום התינופת או בשם תפילות או בשעה בתפילות כשעשה צרכיו ונוטל. So he says something interesting, right? The Rosh has an interesting shita. If you use the bathroom before Tfilah and Mincha and Arvit, you have to make Bas Netilat Yadayim. We don't pass like that, right? Again, right? There's a lot of things over here we don't pass like that. נוטל ידיו להתפלל מיד ועל פי מה שכתב רבנו בסימן זין, according to what רבנו wrote in סימן זין, ובדברי הרשב"א בתשובות שכתבתי בסמוך, and according to Rashba which we're going to write, אפילו לא נגע במקום מתונף, even if he doesn't touch, נמי צריך לברך על נטילת ידיים, to bless also נטילת ידיים. So basically, right, how do we paskin? You know, there's all kinds of opinions here, but what we paskin is that in the morning we do netilat yadayim no matter what, right? Unless you didn't sleep all night, right? We bless every time. Whether you use a bathroom, we didn't use a bathroom. Asher Yatzar, we only said if you use the bathroom. This is the way we do,
But-
It's very simple.
Michal, did we just read that before mincha, or like before when you do pre-mincha, if you use the bathroom, you don't or you do say Asher Yatzar?
So here, right, the Rosh says you should if you use the bathroom, also make Netilat Yadayim as well. For Mincha and Arvit, we don't pass them that way. Okay, so interesting. Let's okay. So basically, we already did the Shulchan Aruch on this, but okay. So that's the halacha, So the Ramah brings this down. If you remember that the minhag by them, by the Ashkenazim, was that they do bless Asher Yatzar, even if they didn't use the bathroom in the morning. I don't know if they still do this today. Probably they do. They go with the Ashkenazim, like the Ramah. That's the way it is.
Oh, but
Yeah.
there's nothing in the Gemara, right, in the lesson that has to be if you actually just praising Hashem for.
Yeah, I mean, but the truth is, there's illusions over there. Like he made holes in your body, and they're held in, and it's really talking about the miraculous nature of using the bathroom. That's the whole discussion there. That's the whole theme of the blessing. I mean, it's also very general, as you said. It can be interpreted in a very general way. But the truth is that when we get to that point, right, when we talk about that bracha, it's going to get that point. It's going to explain to you exactly that's the meaning of the bracha, that talking about using the bathroom. So okay, whatever, we're going to get that. So okay, we're done with Siman Daled, right?
Yes.
Okay, so what's the time? Okay, so we can maybe do a couple more minutes. Let's go to Siman Hey. Just a quick start,
It's very
quick
short.
beginning. Yeah, but, it's a very short one.
It's like one sequence.
Oh, okay, sounds good to me.
See? No, no. He's nice. Though.
So we'll start with the tour. Okay. So it says in the tour, oh, this is an important one, right? So when you bless, right, you have to know what you're saying, right? Try to be mechaven, to have intention, to have a concentration. Like don't just blank out, and start. It's not good to be like that, right? So it says when you mention the name of Hashem, there's a certain kavanah here, right? Which is what? Perush kriyato ba'alef dalet. When you read, right, Adonai, Aleph Dalet, Lashon Adonut. So it's Adonut. What does that mean? Like mastery. Master. He's a master. Shehu Adonakol. He's a master of all. Bechaven Od. Another kavanah you should have. Perush Ktivato. The way it's written. Right? What does that mean? Havaya, which is 26. Shehu Hayab Oveh. So he was, he is, and he will be. So what does that mean? He's omnipotent, right? Omnipresent. He's always going to be around. Uvhaskiro Elohim. When you mention the word Elohim, Yechaven Shehu Adonakol. I'm sorry, Mechila. Yeah. So he's the master of. Let's say that. Yeah. Shehu Takif Amitz. So what does that mean? Elohim. He's strong and powerful, right? Brave. Asher lo yecholet be'elyonim v'tachtonim. So what does that mean? He has the power above and below to do what he wants, to decree as he wishes. Ki el lashon koach v'chozek. Why? Because the word el is a language of strength and power. Right? Who? Kimo ve'et eleh haaretz lakach. Right? Like this language, right? That it says eleh haaretz. What does that mean? Eleh haaretz, the powerful people of the land. He took them to Galut. I think that's what it's talking about. Okay, so that's the tour. Very short, right? So let's look at the Bet Yosef for a second. I guess Yosef was right. It's very short. Okay. So I'm looking at So yeah, Maran is very short, right? It says mevoarhu, so it says it's explained. In other words, there's nothing to explain here. It's self-explanatory. That's what it means to say, right? The words of the Torah. Okay, let's see the Shulchan Aruch and we're done, right? So we got one siman for free, right? Yeah. A freebie. We got a freebie. Okay. So let's see. Makes us feel like we did something. It's good, Like we're not wasting our time at least. Okay, so it says in the Shulchan Aruch, I hope everybody got it, right? It says, Yichaben bebrachot perush hamilot. Have kavanah for the perush of the words, right? When you bless. When he mentions the name of God, Yichaben perush kriyato. So when you mention the name of God, have kavanah for what? The perush of the way it's read. What does that mean? Adonut, that it's master. Shu Adonakol, he's a master of everybody. And also the writing, the way it's written. Yud Hey Vav Hey, Sheh V'Havel B'Yeh Yeh. What does that mean? He was and he is and he will be. When he mentions Elohim, Yechaven Shehu Takif Bala Yecholet. So what does that mean? That he's powerful and all able, right? Omnipotent. Ubal he has all the strength and power that he needs to have for what he needs to do. Okay, that's the end of it, right? So basically, and I just want to point out one thing, by the way, that this issue that he brings here regarding what to have this kavanah, that he's powerful and all this, right? It's not brought down in Talmud, this thing. So what does that mean? This was brought down in the Rishonim. So who was the one who brought this down? So I'm just looking at the Torah. Doesn't bring here, okay, but anyway, right? Point is, right? It's not from the Talmud, this thing. So what does that mean? This was done in the times of Rishonim, this kavanah. Somehow they got this kavanah somewhere, somehow. Maybe it's from the Kabbalah. I don't know exactly what it is. But the reason I tell you this is because if you notice, right, a lot of people make these blessings, don't have this bracha, this kavanah. In other words, they're making the blessings very fast. So they're not really thinking about these things. But the truth is, it's not really an obligation per se, this kavanah. But the proper thing to do is at least to have kavanah on the words you're saying, That for sure you should try to have. You know what I mean? And if you have that also, it's a bonus, so it's good, you got that too, So it's like, it's like, but practically speaking, I see a lot of people they're not makpid with this kavanah, what we're talking about. But when it comes to Perush HaMilim, you should be makpid. That's what it says in the Aruch HaShulchan, It says in the Aruch HaShulchan, Rabbi Epstein. He says that, when you say prayers, just try to know what you're saying. That's the most important thing. Blessings, prayers. Okay, whatever. But anyway, it's good. When I first learned this, I was always trying to do it. I was always trying to, So it becomes like a habit sometimes. Like when you try, it gets habituated. So it's good. Did you guys know this by this coming up? You heard this before?
You have to, when you say Hashem's name, you should
Right.
know that he was, he is, he
Right.
will be.
Right.
But every time you say Hashem's name, how is it possible when they're davening so quickly? And every time you
That's
say
what I'm
Hashem's
saying.
name,
Yeah, people love to pray quickly, so they're not really, so makpid on this. Okay, whatever. We do the best we can, But at least try to have kavanah. By the way, having kavanah is one of the hardest things, today in prayers. It's one of the hardest things. So, we'll do the best we can. And that's why Maran used to say, that if a person should come to minyan. Why? Because if you don't have kavanah, it goes up with the minyan, whether you have or not. When you pray by yourself, then if you don't have kavanah, you're in trouble a little bit. You're not really getting the prayer where you need to have it. So that's why important. There's a pasuk, El Kabir lo imas, right? You know what that means? That Hashem doesn't reject the prayer of the community. So that's why it's important to come to minyan. Chazak Baruch, God bless you. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, Rabbi.
All the Zoom people. Okay, Laila Tov, Nisim.
Toda rabba, toda
God
rabba,
bless
toda
you
rabba. See
all,
you tomorrow.
everybody. Okay. Beautiful.
I heard you're not allowed to say Hashem's name, the four letter name, like to spell it. Is that a Ashkenazi thing?
I'm sorry, what does that mean to spell it?
Like you say
Ah. Well, it depends on why you're saying it.